This is Barbara Ellistad with Mesquite Local Newspaper, and we are here today with Justin Ludvigson, who is a council candidate in the upcoming city elections in April 2011. And Justin, we're going to talk to this afternoon about some areas of concern that citizens have.
Okay.
And ask you to give us your thoughts and ideas about city council people. Okay?
No problem.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys doing this. I think it's awesome that you're out there putting this online. I really appreciate it, Barbara.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Give us a short synopsis of your background.
Well, I grew up in a small town. I grew up on a horse ranch, actually. You know, my parents wouldn't let me go too much on top of the horse. It was usually underneath the horse. You know, clean the manure and shoeing horses and stuff. But it really taught me a lot. It taught me hard work, dedication, and integrity was an everyday part of life. After that, I received an Associates of Arts degree in Japanese and then also a bachelor's degree in international business with a psychology double major. And other schooling, I'm working on my master's degree and trying to finish that up. So I got a few classes left in that. So that's kind of the background as far as my educational goes. I've been a business owner for the last 15 years. I owned Rocky Mountain Lending until recently. I just merged in with a new company called Rand Life, which is going to be great as well. I've owned other businesses as well, from you know, doing construction companies to property management and rentals and so forth there. So I'm, you know, really pro-business. I think the business background's really helped me out, you know, a lot in my life and gave me a lot to go on, you know, as far as managing people, you know, budgeting and so forth. Every part of the realm that business ownership that gives me. So that's kind of a little bit of the background from me.
Well, good. What is your basic campaign theme that would compel someone to vote for you?
Well, there's a few things that I stand for that I think people should vote for me. One is just the demographics of Mesquite. It seems like most city councilmen are the retired age and fit that demographic, which is important. We need to have that age group represented, absolutely, but not 4 out of the 5 or 5 out of the 5 candidates, or excuse me, council people should be from that same demographic. So I represent, you know, the individuals, the smaller people, the family man, and the business owner. I'm definitely pro-business with inequality. I want to see Mesquite come to the level of, hey, how can we help your business out? What can we do to help bring your business to town, which is going to tremendously improve the economics here and help out the budget when the revenues go up. But also make that equality too. We can't just go out there and, you know, give the farm away to anybody that's coming in, especially if it's a competitive business that's competing with a business that's already intact. It's got to be fair across the board. But non-competitive business, I think we need to take more of the approach of, what can we do to help? You know, how can we make this business work here in Mesquite and make sure it's obviously the best for the city of Mesquite as well, but what can we do to help out? Not, hey, here's the list of what you need to conform, you know, after 2 years of research and so forth. Most, you know, time kills deals, and most companies are going to be gone. And let's face it, in an economic downturn, cities are becoming more and more competitive, and which they have to be, and the city of Mesquite needs to be so as well. Sorry about that. I thought you turned that on.
Well, you kind of taken me right into the next question, and that's about the business community here in Mesquite. What actions would you pursue as a council person to help the Mesquite business community work through the current economic situation?
There's a few things that have to be done and are being done as well. I mean, everything's not doom and gloom, and there's a lot of positive that's going on in the city of Mesquite. One of the things that in any budget, in any kind of business, you know, you really, when downturns come, you need to cut costs, you need to lean up. And that's been happening. But then also, you need to try to get more revenue. Well, getting more revenue usually in the city means higher taxes and higher fees, which absolutely can't take place. That's going to stifle the economy even more and bring in less business. It's kind of like a business going, hey, we're really hurting. What should we do? Let's cut marketing. Well, cutting marketing is probably the worst thing you can do to bring in revenue to the business. Yet when you look at a simple fix, yeah, let's cut. So the next thing you look at is the assets. We need to utilize our assets to the fullest. I mean, that's what brought me to Mesquite. It's beautiful. The assets here are incredible.
Define assets a little bit more.
That's a good question.
In that
context.
term,
obviously the beauty of Mesquite, recreation and so forth. I-15 corridor runs right through the middle of Mesquite. That's a huge asset that's unique to the city of Mesquite and could be utilized more than it is as far as drawing new businesses into the city of Mesquite. Another asset is the sporting complex that we have up here. The city's done a great job of promoting the baseball fields, and over time that's really developed. I mean, you can't drive by the baseball fields anymore. There's people there. It's being utilized, and it's bringing revenue into the city of Mesquite. The complex up, at the hill, is getting there, and it's newer. And of course, I talked to Rich Bonney. I think they've got it rented out or things happening on it 24 weeks or weekends out of the year, which is great. So I think that's going to continue to improve. But us as a city, there again, need to be a little more business friendly and say, hey, what can we do to help out? How can we utilize these assets more? There's other assets that we have, as the motocross park, the roping arena and so forth, that sometimes get shunned a little bit by the city, and I think we need to be a little more friendly there and utilize all these assets.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of opinions about how to bring in new businesses to Mesquite. Just a little bit more. I know you've kind of talked around the edges here, and that's okay, but what do you think the city should do to better serve the businesses that are already here that seem to be still struggling through the economic downturn?
Right. That's a great question, and I think that comes back to equality that I was talking a little bit before about.
Okay.
We can't give away the land and do all the tenant improvements on a company that's coming into town if they're a competitive business to somebody else. It's not fair. It's not fair to the existing company, and yet we tax them and fee them and do everything else to existing business. So one of the things that we can do is to help out the existing businesses here in town, and I think you got a lot of groups that are helping that out. The city does a good job through the city recs and parks to bring people in. Dangerfield's doing a great job. He's been here for a little over a year, and I think you're going to start seeing the fruits of that labor. A lot of times in business, the same with the city, you got to work for a year, a couple of years before you really see the fruits of your work. And I think you're going to see that in the city from a few of these individuals. Golf Mesquite's been great. Black gaming, with Christians, have been great to try to promote. And what happens when you promote, the tourism comes in, it affects all the businesses. Okay.
What kind of economic base do you think fits Mesquite best? Golf courses or sports attractions? What do you think is the best economic base for Mesquite?
Well, a lot of times people look at gaming, and some can have a positive notation, some can have a negative, but, you don't throw away the baby just because the diaper is dirty. You wash the diaper, you keep the baby, whatever. And gaming and golfing has been the baby of Mesquite. It's bringing in, I think, 37% of the revenue that's coming into the city of Mesquite. And we need to cater to that and keep that going as much as possible. As far as the rest of the business, the sky's the limit. I don't want to limit it to, hey, we want, RV parking. It doesn't need to be a specific business. Okay. I think we need to be a little bit more genuinely curious of what's out there and what can come to Mesquite. The shrimp farm was turned down, and now it's in North Las Vegas, created 100 jobs, and every job that's created, you're going to have 3 more jobs that come about because of that as well. So, Does that answer your question, or do I sound like a politician?
I think
I don't know a lot about politics. I know a lot about business, so
it's your campaign.
I hope I answered the question you wanted me to.